Hi there, I'm here with Sherif. This is actually a serious video about Confluence and Atlassian software.
Right, of course.
It's a bit difficult with Sherif to do a serious video, and it's his way to cope with the burden of a public company because he told me I never committed to anything beforehand, but now he's not even allowed to do so. So is there anything you can tell me that is like the secret sauce of Atlassian, the new things that are going to come out, the things that will make the Atlassian share soar tomorrow? Give us all the insights.
I'm not sure about what the impact of what I'm going to tell you, if that's going to make the share soar or not.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what we're working on, the problems we're trying to solve.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, definitely. In Confluence Land?
Yeah,
sure.
We'll start there.
Yeah, Confluence Land, the team's been really busy over the last year, actually spending a lot of time trying to think about how we can simplify the product so we can enable more teams in more organizations to use it.
That's the jobs part.
Yeah, and as you know that when you guys work with customers, you deploy an intranet and you have maybe 10, 20, 30 different types of teams that use Confluence every day, and they all have different needs in how they use it. So we've been spending a lot of time thinking about the different types of teams that use Confluence and what is it that they want to do, whether it be a project team or a team trying to store documentation for their knowledge, or a team that's trying to deflect work, like as we call them service teams. Like, I create a knowledge base because my team wants to do less work. And so we're thinking about it in those three types of teams.
Okay. And that's, you were asking before we started this, you're asking like, how about these jobs? Can you name the jobs? And actually I think it's a pretty interesting concept because it makes Confluence so much easier and faster to consume and to understand what does it and what maybe it's not that core to the scope. And what are the three jobs?
So we believe
by the way, is that like a secret now?
No, it's the same. So I think
always have to watch his head so he doesn't get hurt after doing this.
There's nothing I can say in this interview, so we'll just pretend.
He doesn't know anything that will make the stock go up or down.
But I think the way we think about Confluence, and we've shared this publicly, is three main types of jobs that you do. You use Confluence for your projects. You want to help your team stay on top of your work, make decisions, track tasks, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty obvious. The second one is what we call team documentation or reference documentation for your team. So me and you are in a team and I did something and I want to capture that so that if you ever have to do it, you know how to do that as well. So I'll write some knowledge down, how to or a process, and I'll let you know about it. And the third one is what we call sort of self-serve or self-help. A knowledge base. Typically, that's what we call a typical knowledge base, which is my team's job is to deflect work. We get a lot of tickets about something, or people ask my team a lot of questions, and I'm going to start to document some knowledge base articles so that I can deflect work over time. So those are the three jobs, and when you put them all together over time, I guess the more and more teams that are using Confluence for those jobs, the more you start to create a community. And if you think about it, the modern day intranet, if I use that word, is really a community of all these teams working together and getting work done.
Okay. Project is one top.
Yeah, knowledge base.
Reference.
Yeah, reference material for teams.
And the third was?
Knowledge base.
Knowledge base. What's the difference between reference and knowledge base?
Yeah, really good question. One is primarily the reference material is really traditionally what a wiki was used for, to share information within a team. And it's usually to share someone's brain or the type of work they're working on. Whereas a knowledge base is really that you have a customer for that knowledge base, someone usually outside your team that comes in to read an article. Let's say you're a...
Is that broad enough to be a... this could fit in the same category.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe how the formality of the documentation may differ because you have an external customer. Let's say you're a HR team and you have a recruitment policy or a leave policy or a travel policy. You're a service team and you want to document those policies so that your staff stop asking you the same questions over time. But let's just say me and you work in a team and we're working together on a whole lot of projects, or we're a support team, and I shut down the server and I want to take some notes on how I did that, and I let you know about it. So if you ever have to do it sometime, you can do that too. So slightly different intent, but the way a team would measure its success will be different. So for example, the service team, they're all about deflecting work. So if I'm in a HR team and I write this policy document, and I can find out that 500 people found this document useful, I know that I'm doing a good job because I'm deflecting work for my team.
Okay. why is that important for me as a customer? Because maybe I'm already using Confluence, and now you have given me those 2 job categories where I can put all my use
3.
cases. 3.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we lost count from 2.
Okay, I'm sorry. 3 categories. And how does it help? How does it help you develop your product into becoming better?
Yeah, it's definitely understanding. When you understand the job that people are trying to do, it makes you think about the features that you want to build quite differently.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say, for example, let's use the knowledge-based job continued example. Now that we know that the main purpose of that team is to document knowledge so that they can deflect work, we can start to think about how we can surface that deflection work to that team. So we could say, hey, HR team, did you know that this is the most viewed article in your space? Or, that you may want to consider using Service Desk because you can also deflect work that way and capture requests. So we can start to think about the many other ways we can solve problems for that team.
Okay.
There's the great example of, I don't know if you know how these jobs framework started, a guy called Clayton Christensen from Harvard University.
No.
Oh, right. So there's a famous story where they in America, they did all this research for this thick shakes. It's like a milkshake.
Okay.
Is that a thick shakes thing in German?
No.
No. Okay. Like milkshakes?
We have milkshakes.
Okay, let's go with milkshakes.
Greek yogurt.
No, let's not go. Let's go with milkshakes. And the company was trying to work out how they can sell more milkshakes, right? And they
thick
did
shakes.
Thick shakes. I'm saying milkshakes for German. What is milkshakes in German?
Milkshake.
Okay.
Just milk.
Milkshake.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were trying to do research to learn how they can sell more milkshakes. And so they launched different types of milkshakes with different flavors, thinking they would sell more, but they're always selling the same. And then what they found out was after a period of time, people were coming in to buy a milkshake to keep them occupied for a long car trip. And so they would buy a milkshake because it was quite thick. You usually had ice cream and stuff in it, and so it was a drink that lasted a long time.
Okay.
Sounds funny. And so once they knew that the job was actually to keep them occupied for the whole car trip to work or back home, they started doing things differently. For example, in the milkshake, they would put things like sweets and lollies and bits of chocolate. And so as you're driving to work and you're drinking your drink, you're like, that's something new. What is that, right? And they started to sell more. But it's funny because they understood why people were buying the milkshakes. And because of that, they could help people have a more enjoyable ride.
Now I get how this becomes a more valuable
Very bad
video.
example. But, yeah.
So in 5 years' time, I will go back to this video and we'll find out if this kind of strategic, kind of meta theme has helped you a lot or just put you off by delivering just more features. Because I basically only want to have the features, the right features.
So I'll come back to ask you and go, what job are you trying to do with those features? So it's really about getting to the heart of what the customer wants to do, really. I don't think there's any secret sauce in that. Once we understand, hey, you want to capture knowledge for your team, awesome. We'll help you to show who are the smartest people in your team and what are they working on.
I've actually had a very similar conversation with Ben Mackey yesterday when we were talking about, are you going to be more Apple or more Google? And the metaphor didn't work out really well, but the idea was Google is kind of giving away only the technology, like the platform, and then Samsung is abusing it to make their silly phones that is not a real Android phone anymore, and someone else. So people can go nuts, and sometimes the results of the phones that you get are nuts. And for Apple, it's a very controlled environment, and so
where do you think we are in that scale?
You're very close to Google, very close to the Android stuff, and you have given us, for example, an opportunity to create Linchpin, the internet experience that a lot of very big companies think is right for their internet usage, and I fear a little that you'll mingle in that a lot. For example, I see that in cloud happen, at the same time, I do think that you have more resources than we do have with 100 people to get the usability right, to get the performance right, to get everything else right. So I wish you good luck on your Apple striving road, or your road to becoming Apple-like. At the same time, I would hope that Atlassian still delivers awesome features that I can then make great solutions with. And that's a difference. To say that publicly and being a bit evil, I would say Atlassian has stopped to deliver a lot of features in the past. The biggest things that I remember from probably the last 3 years is Confluence 5.7, when you introduced more options to preview files and inline commenting in context with these files. This was awesome. This was a feature that was very generic, that was kind of infrastructure building for the tool, and that our customers can do very lot of use cases with.
Definitely.
Concurrent editing is something that is in that category. Performance tuning is in that category. But that's it. And for 3 years and 1,500 employees, that's little.
There's a lot. You're cherry picking your favorite things out of there. We should probably go through the release notes if you want to go through the full list. But I think what is important to note, we are
with two other things.
There's heaps of Jira integration improvements. We've done a lot of new macros customers have been asking for Jira. We've simplified the dashboard to help you find your recent work.
I just read that you did that inadvertently because you had a blog post on Medium. He's blogging on Medium. You want to subscribe to him,
right?
And he had a blog post there. And said,
that's for the space directory.
Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't connected.
No. Okay. Yeah. But you should read my blog; it's good. But yeah, there's lots of things. But I think now that we're getting bigger, we're actually picking more difficult problems to solve. Example, concurrent editing. We announced it at Summit a year and a half ago, probably a bit more.
Oh, that's longer.
It is a difficult problem to solve, and so we've had more people.
Google did it.
You should never tell the Confluence engineers that. But that's a difficult problem to solve. So the other one we just released in cloud and is coming shortly to server is batch notifications. Confluence is
digest.
Digest is different, but we group. Let's say you edit a page 5 times within a 10-minute window. Instead of sending you 5 emails, we send you 1.
Oh, okay.
This is an extremely difficult engineering task with a product that was.
In my head, this is making me buy your stock.
Can we stop talking about stock? So there's lots of examples of those. We're picking more difficult problems to solve. They are taking longer. But they're hard infrastructure problems. Regarding your comment about Apple or Google, etc., I think it's important to note when we move to a more cloud, with our server offering, we're still very open and there's a complete autonomy. And part of the reason for that is customers can manage their own servers. Mm-hmm. Once you move to cloud, it's a shared environment across all customers. And so from a technical perspective, we actually, it's not quite by design, but design is part of it too. We can't allow anyone to build anything. And so we need to work out, okay, what are the technical constraints where you may build an add-on, let's say tomorrow. You may build an add-on that works really well in cloud, but then causes a performance issue or breaks another customer server. So those are the things we're thinking about.
I think that's the kind of my discussion with Ben yesterday. So you could say, this is my experience, and you may not break it as a plugin vendor. I fully buy into that.
Yeah.
They're like, if I buy the service from you, you want to preserve some UX rules and to make me feel home in all of the... and my role is then to add some features that you don't want to build, for example. But you could also expose your core product as microservices. So you could say, this is my rich text editing experience. It's much better than Google. And I really believe that Confluence rich text editing is much better than Google Docs. And you can use it as a microservice. And then I have this concept called pages, and they have hierarchies, they have labels, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you can structure your content that you've created with this microservice rich text editing. So I'm going to expose this to you as well. And so on and so on. And then I can go nuts and say, oh, look, I'm going to intertwine this. I know Google doesn't expose their services as microservices yet, but they may do, and I hope that they will in the future. So I'll have a experience for the user where they have this Google Drive where they can drop files, and then they don't get Google Docs for editing, but they get Confluence for editing, and it's just like one rich experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And it would, for example, for spreadsheets, always solve the mobile experience and this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And so microservices could be something that is very similar to server, where you just say like, this technology, we don't care if you are building something that is great or not.
Yeah.
The only thing we care is if you're actually using that for production, you have to pay for it.
Right.
But and you may not, I don't know, make it go down. But
and we could end up doing more and more of that in our cloud infrastructure, which is
it's kind of
building more.
That's
of that
how I
services.
imagine Amazon to be built. Like they have all the microservices for everything,
which is powering their shop as well as
exactly.
they're powering their ecosystem. Yeah, I think.
And you can then say, I have my own shop, but I want the payment done through through Amazon.
Yeah. It's a good idea. You should work on the Confluence. Confluence team.
I'm working on a Confluence team. I'm kind of trying with this video to pay your salary. Did you know that?
Many of your customers are, so thank you.
Yeah. This is actually not about the stock. It's about your and my salary. That's why we're sitting here.
Right.
Okay. So microservices, is that a topic that you're discussing internally? Or are you, no, we're going to go this Apple path. We're going to control the experience. No technology offering in the cloud.
Microservices is definitely part of our cloud infrastructure that we've been talking about, and a large part of that is working through each application, working out what can be serviced for internally for our own apps, and as well as for our ecosystem vendors.
That would probably be the first step, right?
Yeah. And so we've started doing that.
Microservice rich text editing into Jira, for example.
Yeah. We've looked at should we expose the real-time editing engine for add-on vendors as well. It's something we've talked to a lot of vendors here about. And trying to understand the implications of that. Yeah, definitely open to that. It's a good approach to things.
Okay, so next main question. Atlassian hasn't got mobile yet.
Hasn't got mobile yet.
So there are companies that design the products mobile first. So they pick up the phone and say, I want to do task management. I want to do, writing.
Yes.
And then they try to create an awesome app. And when they have this app, they create a web interface, but this comes second then.
Yeah.
And you're stuck in this web interface.
What are we doing about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
you're gonna die. You're gonna die if this is the case for 10 years.
No, it's definitely something we talk
frightened.
about actively. No, certainly we're looking at it, and a lot of the new features we're building, we're thinking about how can we make this responsive and work well on mobile. We're looking at native mobile apps where applicable.
It's like multiple or one big.
Mobile apps?
Yeah.
At the moment,
do you expect to have Atlassian expose multiple apps, like you have multiple products right now?
Yeah,
or is it one big Confluence app that can do everything? Or?
Maybe one companion app for each application makes sense, and some of them are already in the App Store. They're in early releases, so you can try them. I think over time you'll see us diversify and build more apps where it makes sense. If we see, hey, there's a specific app we could build for Confluence users for a knowledge base or for our teams, then we'll look at how can we do that to solve their problem. It's certainly something we're very conscious of, and we have more and more teams at Atlassian that have embedded mobile engineers within them, which is something we didn't have this time a couple of years ago. It's something that's we're flexing that mobile muscles within the company. Yeah. So patience appreciated, but we're getting there. We'll get there. It's getting better every month.
We're at 20 minutes something.
That's a long interview.
Yeah, that's a long interview. So
can I interview you?
Yes, you can.
Right.
But I have one last question.
Sorry.
It's more of a question for the viewers. So if you have come this far in the video, I'm still trying to convince Sherif that he'll do this regularly in a Google Hangout with me, and we won't have this wind and all this stuff. And I think he needs some arguments why he should be doing that.
That's right.
If you're at that point, you're really into feeling the pain of listening to us.
Or you're falling asleep at your desk.
Yeah, but I'm just waking up right now.
Yeah.
That must be very good luck that we have.
So if you're interested in a Sherif and Martin Google Hangout, you should tweet hashtag Sherif and Martin, and if we get 50 tweets,
that's a lot.
We'll think about it.
50 tweets is a lot. Okay.
40 tweets.
Okay, so we say 40
hashtag
tweets.
Sherif and Martin.
Okay, cool.